A section of vendors from Kabale Central Market in Kabale Municipality on Monday stormed the offices of the Kabale Municipal Council, demanding a reduction in rent fees and questioning why some individuals continue to claim ownership of lockups as landlords.
We are having a problem. Town council said those who are in a lockup, they want to distribute those rooms.
They are doing it.
Yes, I'm coming. But now we are getting a challenge whereby you find somebody comes from nowhere, opens the lockup, after opening the lockup, enters into the lockup. When you ask him, he says, the council people who sent me to open the lockup. Now we are asking a question. Where will these people go? These one who are four in a lockup. If these lockups are being distributed without our concern, we who are in lockup when we are two.
The vendors expressed frustration over the council's failure to implement the directive issued by the Minister of Local Government, Raphael Magezi, which requires that all market stalls be rented directly to vendors by the council.
konka landlords n'ibindi munonga kandi bari bashaka sente nyingi bashaka landlord arenda miliyoni mukaga miliyoni mushanju kandi akatare government yakombekire abaki.
The directive is part of the new guidelines under the Markets and Agriculture Trade Improvement Program (MATIP), which governs the management of newly constructed markets. The protesting vendors, including Ronaldo Shabohebwa, Charity Twebaze, Austin Dihabwe, William Tayebwa, Joshua Othad, and Florence Chomjisha, called on the council to reduce monthly rent fees to below Uganda shillings or 100,000 shillings.
Advantage bakachikwata bachitika hamitwari 10 aza batakuyoburizo kabashubuzi yabe kimitwari 10 turagireki turagibase kugishashura hato rukushanga imitwari 10 waza mukatijubuka bakatandika byo kwa mukaga Landlord akutazi mu kwa mukaga barije bakubare neze nyima zona bazi kujerekeho harokitwe bamwe abiwe barikwato shanga kapapura hanzu yawe ko kushashura rente metwaro 8 obwakaje wamara muki wamara mu kwezi 10 hatkora wamara mu kwezi 10 bakakushabira metwaro 8 batwira ari bo bakasibire hati barajeje metwaro 8 uragira ki uragiyankaye
turahurira ngo akatare government yayendekire abandi bantu abagenda ubundi butare bakabushabe sente kokati kamanya kabandi abandi barabushabe sente.
And Florence Chomjisha called on the council to reduce monthly rent fees to below Uganda shillings 100,000. They argued that businesses operating in the upstairs lockups, such as textile shops, shoe vendors, and saloons, are struggling due to low customer traffic.
Collecting taxes, barashishize emoto. Umuntu kwari kwijango musaro. Oshanga yaba yine moto bayikane bagiteka metro. Nubo tari kumanya ejo moto barajibanza zinge. Meno katari ukajya ka government. Abantu barakora barishango mu katari kugura mu engoyi yaba nisaro mikora mama shochi neje. Aba bantu bashimire kubahereza favor yo kugira ngo waye kamubati batakugira ki batabaza kuteka mu icoma umumotuka yawe.
They also questioned why some individuals continue to act as landlords in the market, collecting rent from vendors but failing to remit payments to the council.
Ya tugambira ngo umukatare ka Central Market gihari mu Kenya kandi gihari mu Landlord. So ubushu bakagondeshera ki isembo ba mufuna mpora vendors. Bachalenge riho abantu bakarabira hasi bakwato bwo busho bwempo bakanika kubupangisa abantu eze shaha batwine ahamumirwa bwo kujya utubashashure sente zabo.
As a result, vendors are penalized by the council and sometimes have their shops closed despite having rent paid to these so-called landlords. In addition, the vendors demanded clarification on why they are being forced to pay rent for an entire year upfront, a burden they say is too heavy for low-income earners. In response, Willis Atumurichire, the acting marketing master of Kabale Municipality, explained that rent fees are not set by the municipal office alone, but are passed through the council and then submitted to the Ministry of Local Government for approval.
Rent ticket setting a rent to mu council approving a rent, then as well a minister approving a rent.
He said that the government had set a standard monthly rent ranging from approximately 70,000 shillings to Uganda shillings 150,000, depending on the type and size of the lockup assigned to each vendor.
Approving a rent, ground floor in more areas is strategic in approving a rent, and a rent ya lockups ziri mu flow yo kubanza.
On the issue of landlords, he blamed the vendors for giving conflicting information.
Niba cyaba cyarimu konka nabo besherekire ababene babashereka n'abashubuzi takenda kugambira ngo napangiso wana konka hateri izoba norabije abari kurugayo bakucihaye konka the moment ko kuzo mukatale uri kubuza no shashura nkayi no shashuroha nanga shaka kuza kuma PRN kuza kushashura noramazina go muntu gatakushana nagabe nakorera.
Regarding parking challenges for vendors and customers, Atumiche stated that the council plans to engage the procurement team in the next financial year to ensure street parking near the market is prioritized for vendors and customers rather than contracted out to third-party operators.
Street parking kigambiro emirundi mingi turikugezaho kwiyaho street parking ahakatale kugira ngo akatale buri muntu atama ari kugura ikintu ari gusora. So twabire turi kureba ba procurement kugira ngo the next financial year kubaraze kubani bagaba street parking omwanya gw'akatale.
Story by Mariam Ishimwe and Nobandi Amhachi for Kigezi Television.